Sergio Perez produced a flawless drive to beat Max Verstappen's victory at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after an intense battle between the Red Bull teammates. After both Red Bulls made light work of passing the Ferrari pole sitter Charles Leclerc, who finished third in the opening stages, an early safety car caused by Nick de Vries crashing enabled Perez to leapfrog Verstappen as both made their stops. Red Bull pitted Verstappen, who was under heavy pressure from Perez, while de Vries was stranded on the track, but the safety car being sent out moments later meant Perez gained time and a lead when he stopped a lap later. The victory reignites Perez's hopes of denying Verstappen a third successive driver's title, with the dominant RB19 appearing to be in a league of its own in 2023, the pair having now claimed 2 victories apiece across the first 4 races. Perez, who has also won Saturday Sprint as Formula 1 debuted its new format for 2023, now trails Verstappen by 6 points going into the next weekend's Miami Grand Prix. It worked really well for us, Perez said. We managed to stay in the DRS train and kept the pressure on Max. I think it's very close between us. We pushed to the maximum and we both clipped the walls a few times. And yeah, a good win for Sergio Perez and a hugely impressive drive. But despite having taken a stunning pole on Friday and on Saturday for a sprint, Leclerc was never expected to be able to compete with the Red Bulls and produce strong drives to keep Fernando Alonso behind him and claim a first podium in the season. Sainz completed an improved weekend for Ferrari by finishing 5th ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who recovered after losing several places to the safety car in 6th. Lance Stroll got away without making significant contact with the wall in his Aston Martin, 7th ahead of George Russell, whose progress was ruined by a poor restart of the safety car. Lando Norris, who like Hamilton lost positions at the safety car pitting early, fought back to 9th, while Yuki Tsunoda finished 10th for the second successive race. But despite Leclerc starting on pole, the feeling before the race was that the real battle would be the Red Bulls lining up behind him. That did not take long to come to fruition, with Verstappen easing past the Ferraris at the end of the third lap once Red Bull's dominant DRS was unleashed. Perez was followed by his teammate through at the same spot 2 laps later before setting about chasing down Verstappen. The Mexican street circuit pedigree was on display as he immediately closed within the second of Verstappen. It was right on his teammate's rear wing when de Vries' accident occurred on lap 10. The AlphaTauri stuck inside the wall as he took damage on turn 5 and left him stranded at turn 6. With yellow flags waving, Red Bull called Verstappen in, but no sooner as he emerged from the pits, the safety car was sent out, benefiting the cars yet to stop. Perez would come out in the lead after his stop a lap later, while Leclerc also got back in front of Verstappen, riding a Mexican with an extra cushion. It would not have lasted long as Verstappen immediately got past Leclerc, but Perez quickly opened the second gap to move out of DRS and then maintain the advantage for the rest of the race. The safety car was a bit unlucky, then I have to push again. Verstappen said, I have to stay very close and try and get into the DRS. I think the tyres are overheating a little bit because of trying to follow. There was a momentary scare for Perez as he hit the wall at turn 15 on the 34th circuit of the 51 lap contest, but he escaped without any damage and was able to comfortably bring home an 1-2 with a 2-second lead. It makes him the first ever driver to win twice at Baku, while also furthering his reputation as a street circuit specialist. But anyway, with the rest of the action was somewhat secondary as a key battle played up front between the Bulls. Leclerc backed up his second in Saturday Sprint to claim a first podium in the season for Ferrari. Having come out into the season expecting to challenge Red Bull and Verstappen for titles, Ferrari's endured a torrid start to the campaign in the first 3 races, with Leclerc retiring 2 of them. While their race pace along with the Red Bulls is some far off, they will take encouragement and significant outplays planned for Imola later this month will hopefully bring them into contention. Alonso did his best to make it 4 podiums in a row in the surprise package Aston Martin. He punished Hamilton into an early pit stop before Sainz at the restart to gain 2 positions from his starting position. Hamilton recovered well after a slow start to pass Nico Hulkenberg and Esteban Ocon, having dropped to 10th at the restart before then making moves on Russell and Stroll. Ocon, who started from the pit lane after breaching Parc Fermé rules by changing his pit stop on Saturday, was also involved in a near disastrous accident in the pit lane in the closing stages. Albon suddenly, somewhat strangely, waits until the last lap to bring Ocon in for a mandatory change of tyres. But race organisers haven't realised and allowed photographers to gather at the start of the pit lane where they were awaiting the top 3. Thankfully, no photographers were hurt and managed to get out of the way of Ocon's at the last moment. Despite the near miss, serious questions do need to be asked that instant. But anyway, up next for F1, it's only a very short race because the Miami Grand Prix is on next weekend and the battle will continue between the 2 Red Bull drivers who will come up on top this time. But before I go, let me run you through the classification from the race. And obviously Perez coming up on top. Yeah, hugely impressive drive from Perez. Obviously did get slightly lucky, but yeah, I mean, still hugely impressive to beat Verstappen. He really is proving his worth so far this season. Verstappen will be disappointed, but still good points for him. And yeah, Leclerc third. Obviously didn't have the pace of the Rebels, but still very good points for him, and I think he'll be happy as well. Alonso fourth, maybe disappointed not to get out of the podium, but Aston Martin having a bit of a messy weekend, still getting that close to podium is hugely positive signs. Sainz in fifth, it's good points, but I mean, pace-wise, he was miles off Leclerc. Hamilton, good job, obviously screwed by the safety car. But yeah, good recovery. Maybe frustrating not to get Sainz though. Stroll in seventh, bit of a way off his teammate, but you know, it's kind of expected. Russell eighth, I think he had maybe a disappointing weekend, except for maybe the sprint Saturday. But yeah, we go. Norris in ninth. Probably the best McLaren could hope for. Tsunoda in 10th, really impressive game points for him. Piastri in 11th, I actually think that's an underrated drive considering how ill he's been, so credit to him. Albon 12th, yeah, bit disappointed for Williams to miss out, but you know, points were always a mile off for Magnussen as well. And then Alpine's 14th and 15th, so it's just a disastrous weekend for them. It kind of felt like nothing went right. Sargent in 16th and Hulkenberg in 17th, Bottas in 18th. Yeah, just not great races for either of them. And at the moment, it doesn't seem like maybe their cars have quite enough ways to get in the points, which will be frustrating for them. Zhou having to retire as well in the Alfa Romeo, sorry. Yeah, just another one, a frustrating weekend, but wasn't going to score points anyway. And De Vries, yeah, having an absolute honker of the weekend, really, with Alpine. And yeah, pressure will start to grow on him because it hasn't been a great start to his full-time F1 career. But yeah, we all know how good a driver he can be, so fingers crossed he can turn it around. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. To like, share, subscribe, subscribe, and for daily F1 news and subscribe to the channel, greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.